Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary peoples. This is Bronson's By Any Means Necessary Fantasy Football Talk for Friday, September 23rd. This will be my wide receiver Spikes and Yikes edition for week 3. I've got the top 30 list. And then I've got 3 guys outside the top 30, outside the top 40 actually, who I think, I'm spiking, who I think are going to be in at least the flex conversation. So, I do want to do this rather quickly. I've had a busy day and I'm not done yet. I've got Uber Eats goals to meet that I'd like to get back out there and do. I've been basically working all day. I woke up at 4, went to UPS, came back, went to bed, took a nap. It was supposed to be like 2 hours. I ended up sleeping all morning. I obviously was way more tired than I thought. Woke up at noon, had some lunch, all that good stuff. Went out to Uber from 1 o'clock to like 3:30, and then went back to UPS because I'm double shifting today. Next week I signed up for Monday, Wednesday, Friday because I don't really care about this Monday night game. I don't give a shit about the NFC East. I'm tired of them always being in prime time. I'm actually surprised the Giants and Cowboys isn't the Sunday night game because that's always the games that those guys freaking get hard-ons for, is NFC East games. So yeah, I'll be working Monday, Wednesday, Friday next week, double shifting. So that'll give me 8 shifts at UPS, which will make 3 shifts, which will make Friday, all day Friday overtime, and then Saturday will be overtime as well. So it's great, good money. Just in time, because I'm trying to catch up from all the money I've spent. And I got a big vacation, a whole week coming up, where I'm going out of town, obviously going out of town. I used to be the kind of person who didn't use my vacation time. I just let it roll over, let it cash out, take the money. But now that I've started traveling, I'll never stop. And I'm not the kind of person who's gonna sit at home when I got a whole week off paid. No way. Get me out of here, going somewhere. And so yeah, that's my day today. Let's get to it. Top 30. Top 10, your wide receiver ones for week 3. We got Cooper Kupp, number 1 at the Cardinals. Number 2, we got Justin Jefferson versus the Lions. Number 3, we got Devontae Adams at the Titans. Number 4, we got Stephon Diggs at Miami. Number 5, we got Tyreek Hill versus the Bills. Number 6, Jamar Chase at the Jets. Number 7, Amon-Ra St. Brown at the Vikings. Amon-Ra St. Brown has jumped up considerably in the last couple of weeks. He does have a good matchup against the Vikings secondary with Harrison Smith out and Andrew Booth out. So he definitely, I'm not spiking him or yiking him. He's fine at 7 for the week. At 8, we got Deebo Samuel at the Broncos. At 9, we got A.J. Brown at the Commanders. At 10, we got Jalen Waddle versus the Bills. So both Dolphins wide receivers are wide receiver ones here in week 3. No spikes or yikes in the top 10. I wouldn't spike anybody in the top 10 anyway because they're already at wide receiver 1 status. They can't really get any higher. Not yiking anybody in the top 10 either. Pretty solid top 10. Now 11 through 20, this is where the yiking, that's where I start my yiking, but we'll talk about that later. 11, we got Michael Pittman versus the Chiefs. He should be back healthy for your lineups this week. Number 12, we got Keenan Allen versus the Jaguars. Still listed as questionable, but most likely going to play. 13, we got Brandon Cooks at the Bears. 14, we got T. Higgins at the Jets. 15, we got Christian Kirk at the Chargers. Tough matchup with J.C. Jackson there for Christian Kirk, but the touchdown productivity is hard to ignore. He's definitely in the wide receiver 2 conversation. 16, we got Michael Thomas at the Panthers. 17, we got Cortland Sutton versus the 49ers. Jerry Jeudy still questionable. I don't know if he's going to play in that game or not. That should be, I know Tim Patrick. So that should be a very heavy day of volume for Cortland Sutton. I like his matchup against the 49ers. 18, we got Terry McLaurin versus the Eagles. 19, CeeDee Lamb at the Giants. And 20, we got Gabe Davis at the Dolphins if he plays, which is still questionable, still up in the air. So, yeah. Now, 21 through 30, these are your wide receiver 3s. Marquise Brown versus the Rams. 22, we got Mike Williams versus the Jaguars. 23, we got DJ Moore versus the Saints. 24, Rashad Bateman at the Patriots. 25, Drake London at the Seahawks. 26, we got DK Metcalf versus the Falcons. 27, we got Curtis Samuel versus the Eagles. 28, we got Garrett Wilson versus the Bengals. Garrett Wilson makes his first appearance in the top 30 of his career. 29, we got Jacoby Myers versus the Ravens. And at 30, we got a questionable Julio Jones versus the Packers. All right, so let's start. Let's get my yikes out of the way. I have 5 of them, I think. Yeah, 5. So starting with number 13, Brandon Cooks of the Bears. Brandon Cooks, very talented. I think in season-long formats, he's going to be a top 25 wide receiver, most likely, but he's not off to the strongest start, hasn't been super productive. The Bears defense is okay. That's probably going to be a low-scoring game. I don't know if there's going to be enough volume or productivity for Brandon Cooks to be a top 15 wide receiver. He's outside my top 20 for the week. And then we got Terry McLaurin versus the Eagles. There's a lot of mouths to feed in that Washington wide receiver room. And I think all 3 of them, Curtis Samuel, Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, all top 30 wide receivers, in my opinion, all should be starting in your league if you're in a 3 wide receiver league. Terry McLaurin is going to have a tough matchup with Darius Slay. We saw how well Darius Slay shut down Justin Jefferson last week. So Terry McLaurin's outside the top 20 for me as well this week. Then we got Marquise Brown at 21. He's going to see Jalen Ramsey. Marquise Brown is not, I don't know what you guys expected from Marquise Brown, but he's not lived up to what I was anticipating he was going to do so far this year without DeAndre Hopkins. And I just think the Jalen Ramsey matchup's going to be too tough for him. He's a risky wide receiver 3 play. He's a little lower on my list, probably outside the top 25. Then we got DK Metcalf at 26. He's going to see A.J. Terrell. A.J. Terrell is one of the better corners in the league, and DK Metcalf has not done anything so far this year to suggest that he should be starting in anybody's lineup. The only reason he's ranked this high is because of pedigree, but he's outside my top 30. And then lastly, we got Julio Jones, who I don't even know if he's going to play. He's at 30, so he's at the very fringe of starting, of being a starter, of being a flex play. But I don't like him. I don't like him this week at all. He's going to see Jerry Alexander, who, despite my Packer hatred, I can't deny that he's a very talented corner. And if Julio does play, and the fact that he's questionable, very questionable, is going to be a game-time decision. It's too risky for me. Definitely benching him. He's not he's not in my top 40 even this week. Gonna steer clear of Julio Jones. Now for the spikes. I have 3, 4, 6. I got 6. More spikes than yikes. That's a good sign. That's positivity. Positive. We're going in a good direction there. All my spikes are guys outside the top 20. So guys that I think are going to put up top 20. Or possibly top 20 weeks. Starting with Mike Williams at 22 versus the Jaguars. We saw the monster week Mike Williams had last week without Keenan Allen. I really think that the Chargers offense with Justin Herbert as the quarterback is good enough to sustain 2 top 20 wide receivers. We've seen the Dolphins sustain 2 top 15, possibly top 10 wide receivers. That's why Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are both in the top 10 this week. So I think the Chargers offense is easily doable. I think they're both talented enough. I think that Justin Herbert learned last week that he can trust Mike Williams and not have to rely so heavily on Keenan Allen. I think that they're going to ride that momentum. Mike Williams is going to become a bigger part of the offense moving forward, regardless of whether Keenan Allen is on the field or not. And the Jaguars secondary is nothing to write home about. So I like them both. Top 20 wide receivers. And then we've got Rashad Bateman at the Patriots. Rashad Bateman is not getting a lot of volume, but he is producing very well with the volume he gets. I think that his volume is only going to increase as the season goes along. And with J.K. Dobbins still being questionable and the Ravens running game not being anything great, I think they're going to be a little bit more pass heavy in this game in New England because the New England secondary, I believe, is not as good as the New England front 7. So Rashad Bateman, who, may only catch 2 or 3 balls, but he'll get 100 yards and a touchdown. That sounds like a wide receiver 2 to me. Maybe I'm just wishful thinking because I'm going to be relying on Rashad Bateman this week. But I do think I would have him probably in my top 20 just because I don't like Marquise Brown much this week at 21. And I don't know if Gabe Davis is going to play against the Dolphins or not. So I would move Rashad Bateman up to the 20 spot at least. Curtis Samuel, 27 versus the Eagles. I believe Terry McLaurin is the most talented wide receiver the Commanders have, but Curtis Samuel is the best fantasy wide receiver the Commanders have because he's seeing a massive amount of volume. He's the guy that Carson Wentz is trusting to catch the short ones, like the Deontay Johnson role. Curtis Samuel's making good on the targets and catches that he's making. So I like Curtis Samuel more than Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin's outside my top 20. Curtis Samuel is in my top 20. But all three of them, like I mentioned, were in my top 30. And we'll get to Jahan Dotson later. Sorry to spoil what's coming at the end of the video. And then so my three guys outside the top 30, outside the top 40 who I'm spiking. We'll start with Jahan Dotson since I already mentioned him. He's way down at 47 this week versus the Eagles. He's got a touchdown pass in each of his first two games. Carson Wentz seems to look for him down when they get close to the goal line. So if it continues, if Jahan Dotson can catch another touchdown pass, that puts him in the flex conversation. And then at 41, Russell Gage versus the Packers. Russell Gage appears to be the only healthy wide receiver Tampa has, so he's going to see a lot of volume from Tom Brady. And yes, if Julio Jones doesn't play, he will see Jerry Alexander, which is concerning. But I think the sheer volume is going to lead to flex-worthy production there in that game on Sunday night. And then at 44, we got Nelson Aguilar versus the Ravens. I know that Jacoby Myers is top 30 because his high. Jacoby Myers is a very high ceiling. A high floor, not a high ceiling. Because he doesn't score, but I like Nelson Aguilar more this week. The Ravens secondary is pretty trash, and one of those guys is going to be able to capitalize on it this week. Maybe both are going to cash in for touchdowns, but my money in the touchdown department is on Nelson Aguilar more than Jacoby Myers. I like both of them as flex-worthy options for you this week. All right, that's the entirety of the video. I did pretty good. I'm under 13 minutes. I'm going to run over 13 minutes by, this rambling and my salutations and all that stuff. But still, 13 minutes. Pretty impressive. I'll get to the running backs tomorrow. Hopefully. My videos have been uploading pretty quickly lately, so I'm really thankful for that. Hopefully this uploads quickly because I'll be out working. Driving with no connection to Wi-Fi and I won't be watching YouTube videos while it uploads. That seems to help a lot when I'm uploading my videos. As long as I sit and watch YouTube videos until it uploads pretty quickly. But I won't be doing that for this video, so I'm concerned. But hey, we got till Sunday, right? So as long as it uploads before Sunday, we're good. But hopefully, it does upload tonight so I can do running backs tomorrow and not have to wait for this to finish. All right. That's all I've got for you today. I'm trying to make as much money as I can this week because I am behind. Haven't been behind financially in a while, and I don't intend to be behind for very long at all. So, peace, love, and nacho fries. Good luck, good night. Fantasy, I'm always open for questions. And it's almost basketball season. It's time to start maybe prepping, doing some basketball prep, finding some basketball leagues. I'm always down to join basketball leagues. I'd much rather play in a custom league with friends in basketball than join a bunch of stupid free ones because basketball's just not that fun to me, honestly. So if I'm gonna play head-to-head redraft basketball, I'd rather play with people who collectively want to play together and not just some random league that has no energy or anything like that. So please invite me to some fantasy basketball leagues. That'd be cool. Good night.